Alrighty everyone, welcome back. It is now March 19th of 2025, and given that where we stand right now, the Walt Disney Company is in pure panic mode, dealing with the ticket sales just really not selling as we speak. There are a lot of movie theaters out there that are pretty much generally empty when it comes to specific showtimes for Snow White 25, featuring Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot. It's just not working for the Disney Company, at least for now, when it comes to the pre-sale tickets. This is exactly why Disney themselves are projecting this to be an even bigger failure than some of their past projects, especially in 2023. This is Mike Zero. Subscribe if you're new and like this video to see future updates. You can also follow me at Mike01. I thank you all so very much for the great and kind support. So the whole Rachel Zegler situation is only worsening over time. We know that her words only damaged Disney's image further, or whatever was left of it, I must say. But what's interesting on this note is that there's a lot of things going on both behind the scenes and in the public eye. Now, focusing on Rachel Zegler's career, this is when things truly are beginning to collapse. We know that the Hollywood bubble, the film industry, whatever you want to call it, there are a lot of changes happening through certain studios. Not all, but some studios out there are beginning to wake up about what's the best decision for their business model, right? To attract new customers, to make their existing customers satisfied, to get them into the theaters, to get them to watch their products on streaming, whether it's a TV show or a movie, etc., etc. However, this is where it really begins to go out of control when it comes to the whole Zegler situation, how she's beginning to react toward her career truly collapsing, all due to the Snow White drama and the backlash that is just growing in numbers as we speak. Now, with, of course, all of that said, with the Snow White backlash growing and tickets just not selling anywhere near close to what Disney hoped for, one significant development that is now active involves more to do with Rachel Zegler and her recent behavior after losing millions of dollars. Now, an update to this entire situation now involves how Rachel has been losing multiple roles in the film industry, either for contracts that were already set in stone and shattered to pieces by the studio, or deals that were close to being finalized that are no longer moving ahead. It turns out that Rachel's deal with Blumhouse Productions for a new horror film that she was going to star in as the lead, as we discussed yesterday, as an actress, was going to provide her a payout of $10.5 million to play a character dubbed as Cat with a K. Now, this was aimed to be a new psychological horror, and if successful, was going to provide Zegler other horror films to participate in. When she was blacklisted from this studio specifically and in isolation, she already blamed discrimination as the form of the scapegoat and played the victim card against Blumhouse. Shockingly, Zegler was also going to be a part of the new Scream 7 film as one of the main side characters via Paramount for 2026. This decision came after some rewrites were applied to the script, and Rachel was also kicked out of that film that was going to provide a payout of $8.7 million for her role in that movie. The announcement of her being cast in the film was set to drop by this April, and Paramount made a last-minute call to drop her from this project after learning about all the drama happening internally over at the Disney Company and all the negative press surrounding Snow White. So as you can see, I mean, things are beginning to change with some of these studios that are beginning to realize that, yeah, maybe we shouldn't associate with this actress that said some pretty crazy things before in the past, and how the backlash surrounding those comments are just not going away. Now, this comes in the midst of course, the whole situation as Zegler is desperately attempting to expand to horror films, as she tried to do so with the horror comedy film by A24 called Y2K, which failed. The most surprising of all involves Warner Brothers, where Zegler was going to be set in for a role in a new political thriller by WB as one of the character's daughters in the film. This new mystery film is about to be announced by this June and is codenamed Shadow. This film was going to provide Zegler $7 million flat for the role, and after she was dropped from that project, she blamed not just Warner Brothers, but all of the other studios mentioned beforehand as well, as firing her for holding a political opinion, and WB made a swift move by excluding Zegler, especially from a new political film that is going to be set in the 1990s. Now guys, before I move on from all of this, alright, what's interesting about this whole scenario right now is that, yes, we know that WB is getting a major makeover. David Zaslav does not want to hire any actors or actresses that are strongly politically motivated, even if they are going into a political film. they don't want to associate with anybody like that anymore because they don't want people dragging their politics into their acting careers and hence creating more backlash. And then on top of that, that turns against their image as a studio. So that's why David Zaslav is acting better in my book than CEO Bob Iger over at Disney. Now look, I have a lot of criticism over WB, I really do. I'm not a huge fan of David Zaslav, but at least he is taking some proper steps to at least salvaging the image of WB and trying to really keep things up in shape when it comes to how they operate as a studio, how they're organized, how they take action, and really just not associating with such box office poison as Rachel Zegler truly is. Now, here's another example, alright? To top things off, we already know that David Zaslav dropped Robert De Niro, George Clooney, Alec Baldwin from various projects. They don't want to work with them anymore because, surprise, surprise, they really are very vocal and have been with their politics, and they're not having it anymore. Now, Zegler is also blaming her very own agent and manager for not properly representing her and defending her properly to remain attached to those roles, when in reality the studios can call the shots. Zegler was reportedly so offended by not only losing roles from these studios, but also roles within the Disney company like Toy Story 5, which was going to pay her just $3 million for a new character called Spiral, which was going to be one of the side characters toward the second act of that film. This is all happening in the midst of the growing backlash over Snow White 25. Now again, we know that Disney even disassociated themselves with Rachel Zegler for some projects. She was supposed to have this massive Disney contract deal after Snow White. Obviously that is all falling apart, that is no longer happening. She was also supposed to be in that Pirates of the Caribbean reboot. You guys find it funny how there are no updates surrounding this movie anymore? I think it's very likely that they're going to put a major break on that movie's production, and they're going to do a complete rescale of it and do something differently. We already know that they have had conversations like, what could we do to get Johnny Depp back into the Pirates franchise? And I don't think Johnny would really accept it at this point in 2025 if Disney ever brings that up to him personally through, of course, all of these different plans that they have set in stone for the overall expansion of Disney live-action remakes, and also really kind of remaking other franchises out there like Pirates. But overall, it's very interesting the fact that she had a lot of these projects all lined up, you know, and when you combine it all, it is tens of millions of dollars, and she's losing everything. I mean, this is all because of Snow White, all because of some, you know, crazy, out of touch with the reality comments that she just couldn't shut up about, obviously. And she continues to do that. She just doesn't seem like she wants to stop when it comes to not just the damage control over Snow White, but also her overall political views. We already know what she actually talked about some weeks ago and how that backfired, and how that kind of really overshadowed the whole, you know, promotion of Snow White with her politics. It just really damaged Disney even further, and it led to more people unsubscribing from Disney Plus. You guys may have seen that report by the Disney company about how much they lost in 2024, and it just goes to show you, it tells you something. It tells you something, right? It says something about the current status of Disney. But overall, I would like to hear what everyone has to say about all of this below in the comments, anything ranging from the whole Zegler situation to Gal Gadot. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel, and I will catch you guys later.